Despite reporting a 13% decline in sales from a year ago, Tesla shares surge in Wednesday, and it could have something to do with the report that Elon Musk will soon leave his role in the Trump administration to focus on the electric vehicle company once again. Joining us now to talk about all this, Stephen Gengaro, Stifel, NextGen Transport Analyst. Stephen, it's always great to see you and have you on the show. Let's start with this report, Stephen, that Trump is telling his inner circle Musk will soon leave. I'm curious what you make of that, Stephen. You know, we did have Dan Ives from Wedbush on the show recently. I'll tell you, Stephen, this is what Ives has been pounding the table on. He's telling me, this is what I want. I want Musk out of politics. I want him back focusing on his businesses. Is that what you want to see, Stephen?
Yeah, I would agree. And Josh, it's good to see you as well. I mean, clearly you've seen the hate, right? I mean, you've seen all over the news what's going on at Tesla dealerships, people burning cars, et cetera. And Elon's involvement in the government is largely driving that hatred towards the company. So I do believe, you know, from a Tesla perspective, he would clearly be better off going back running Tesla and stepping away from his role on the government side.
Yes, Stephen, question. I see the valuations. I see your note. Is there a way to price in reputational damage into a stock like this? We know this stock has been through so much if you just look over the past several years, but is there a way to price that in, or you just have to look at unit sales, at fundamentals, and what the prospects for growth look like?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So when we thought about the first quarter delivery numbers, and we lowered our number to about 353,000 deliveries in the first quarter. Part of that was the backlash around Elon. Part of that was just the Model Y switchover of production, which is the best-selling vehicle in the world, and that clearly was going to have an impact. You know, as far as trying to look at the impact of, you know, on sales, on valuation, I think it's really hard to kind of compartmentalize the specific valuation impact. Now, you obviously saw volatility in stock around it. We have a group at Stifel, a Stifel think tank group that does outstanding work on data analytics, and we've published some reports which have shown, you know, the significant drop off in favorability ratings and net purchase considerations by Democrats on Teslas, and that's clearly matters because there's more Democrats buy EVs than Republicans at this point. And we saw this massive shift. All of a sudden, Republicans love Tesla and Democrats hate Tesla. So, you know, all of that probably gets reflected in the stock to some extent, but to really kind of compartmentalize it down on a valuation number is very difficult.
Well, to that point, Stephen, you know, I think what you've just described is just how hard it is to quantify that key man risk. And so part of the upside performance today, might that have more to do with kind of the business? There's actually a nice event going on in Saudi Arabia next week, a new market for Tesla. Might that have something to do with the uptick in the stock today?
Yeah, I think first, you know, as far as today is concerned, I think that the stock wasn't as weak at the open as people would have thought from the headline number, right? Some of the consensus numbers were stale. Some of it was people were expecting that the first quarter was going to be soft. And just kind of fundamentally, I don't think things were as bad as maybe some people had feared. So I think that was, you know, part of the reason the stock wasn't as weak at the open. And then just with the news that he may be stepping away from his government role, that was obviously a catalyst, because when that news hit, the stock obviously popped on that. You know,